Oh, yeah, things escalate quickly in the sports world, specifically in the NFL on this Tuesday afternoon. So I just finished recording my video where I was giving praise to the Philadelphia 76ers, specifically Joel Embiid, from their 121-106 victory. My video I recorded a few hours ago. I gave Embiid props for being the front runner to be MVP and flat out said he should be the MVP, barring an injury that caused him to miss significant time. So I gave him props for that. And then all of a sudden, after I get into recording that, I'm looking around. All of a sudden, I stumble across breaking news from the NFL world. And now that breaking news is all over. It's all over NFL.com, ESPN, the New York Post, all over Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, everywhere. It's official. So the Seattle Seahawks and Denver Broncos have agreed to a trade, which this will send. Make sure I got all the details down. So obviously Russell Wilson, franchise quarterback for the Seattle Seahawks, has been traded to the Denver Broncos. And in this trade, the Broncos gave up 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, a 5th-round pick, quarterback Drew Lock, who wasn't panning out for them, obviously a bust, D-line Shelby Harris, and tight end Noah Fant. And yeah, obviously, let's start with Seahawks. It looks like things were on the outs with Russell Wilson. They obviously had a down season last year. They obviously are not contenders, and they're obviously in rebuild mode. So all the extra draft picks they acquired could very well help them rebuild. They invest those draft picks properly. It could definitely help them rebuild and being contenders a few years down the line. And that would obviously affect the Philadelphia Eagles because they're in the same conference as the Seahawks, but who knows where the Eagles will be a few years from now. So we'll find out how that affects the Seattle Seahawks and my team, the Philadelphia Eagles, a few years down the line. But now for the Denver Broncos, I mean, they gave up a lot to get Russell Wilson, obviously. I mean, they gave up when their main tight end. Now they gave up Drew Lock, but Drew Lock was a bust for them, so I don't blame them for getting rid of Drew Lock. They got rid of Shelby Harris, and they got rid of 2 first, 2 second, and a 5th. That's 5 draft picks total they gave up on. And for a team that was off a 7-win season that was mediocre, that is struggling to find that guy. I mean, even though Teddy Bridgewater played solid before he got injured, the concussion, though, with all due respect to Teddy Bridgewater, he's not that franchise level quarterback, though. You know, he played solid at times. He was not that franchise level quarterback, and the Broncos knew it. They knew they haven't really had a franchise quarterback since Peyton Manning was there, and that was only for a handful of years. Last time the Broncos had a true franchise quarterback was in the 80s and 90s with John Elway. So, yeah. So, obviously, the Broncos, I mean, last time they made a deal where they got a franchise-level quarterback who still had something left in the tank, with Peyton Manning, it panned out for them. 4 seasons, 2 Super Bowl appearances, a Super Bowl victory, and now they're going to get Russell Wilson. I mean, Wilson is off an injury year where he had some ups and downs, one of his worst years as a starter. But now they're obviously hoping that Russell Wilson comes back healthy for them next year and that he's able to still play at a franchise quarterback level. And if Russ does that, Broncos can be contenders in the AFC. They can definitely be contenders in the AFC. So, those of you any Broncos fans watching this video, look, obviously, congratulations on acquiring Russell Wilson. And if he's still that franchise level dude, you guys are going to be contenders. If you invest in free agency right, get a few extra players that help build up the defense a little bit, you guys could be possibly in the Super Bowl. I mean, the Cincinnati Bengals were the AFC representing the Super Bowl, and nobody saw them as being a Super Bowl favorite at all. So if they can make it to the Super Bowl, the Broncos with this Russell Wilson trade can too. They can. So obviously they could potentially be winners of this. Seahawks down the line, if they rebuild, could be winners of this. So there's potential here. Now, if Russell Wilson isn't still that franchise guy and he takes a dip, obviously this will backfire on the Broncos spectacularly if that does happen. But obviously time will tell what's going to happen there. So, but it's interesting now. The AFC West now, you got the Broncos, got their guy who looks like it's going to be their franchise quarterback for possibly maybe 4 or 5, maybe even 6 years possibly. So that may help make them contenders. You still got the Kansas City Chiefs in the mix. Chargers are in the mix. If they can just somehow stop, somehow get out of their own way, stop blowing games they're favorites to win, they could potentially make some noise. And the Raiders, they're fresh off a playoff appearance. So you got 4 teams in there that could possibly be getting up to, could possibly get up to at least minimum 7-8 wins in that division. So that's going to be a tough division, that AFC West, it looks like. So that'll be interesting just as a football fan to see how that plays out. And as far as my team, the Eagles, goes, and the Eagles fans watching this video, look, all I'm going to say is, look, the reason I didn't come on here and talk about Russell Wilson, the speculation, the only time I talked about it was that video where I reacted to Colin Cowherd's proposed trade, where I came on and said I didn't agree with that, was because I ultimately knew the Eagles weren't going to trade for Russell Wilson. I knew it, even with all the talk going on, because that's all it is talk. It's all talk to try to get clicks and ratings. I knew that one wasn't happening. And now we know for sure, guaranteed, it is not happening because Russell Wilson's going to the Denver Broncos. So that's a reminder to the Eagles fans, don't get caught up in all the rumors and all the talk that we're going to acquire this guy in a trade, or we're going to trade for this guy, or we're going to trade for this guy, or sign this guy in free agency. Don't believe it, because the majority of the time, it's not going to happen. So that's all I'm going to say about this right here. So again, any Broncos fans watching, congratulations on acquiring Russell Wilson. Best of luck to your team. Eagles fans, like I always say, don't believe the hype. Don't buy into the rumors. Believe what really happens. And everyone that watched this video, thank you for watching. Feel free to drop a comment. Let me know how you feel about this trade. So if you're new and you haven't subscribed, do so. And also drop a like to show your support for the channel. Most of all, everyone watching, have a wonderful day or night. Nikki Steve signing off, and I'll see you next time.